How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Factorio. Hope you guys have been enjoying the series so far. If you guys have, you guys do smash that like button if you haven't done so already. And with that, let's get into today's episode. So, in between episodes, we kind of focused on a few things, primarily getting ourselves established here on Volcanus, working on getting our science shipped back to Novice. So one of the things that I've planned are having 2 science ships sent back, or 2 rockets full of science sent back. One rocket sent full of the big mining and then the foundries, or as many as I can, probably with some tungsten and calcite and some stuff, just so we can do some stuff on Novice. And then one to get us back. We almost have everything we need. We have 2 built right now. We do have enough processing units for 3. We have almost enough low density for us to get 2 more, and then almost enough rocket fuel for 2 more. Well, 1 more for sure, and then almost a 4th. So we are getting there. It's just going to take us a little bit longer than I would like. Some of the other things that I have worked on here is primarily just getting this stuff set up. However, the demolishers have been a bit of a pain in the butt. If you guys have any good recommendations for taking out the demolishers, definitely let me know down below, because currently as it stands, the demolishers are a really big pain in the butt. And then, trying to think. Some of the things we are going to do for science are getting artillery, which costs 1,500, and then ideally getting asteroid processing and cliff explosives. Probably for sure cliff explosives and artillery, just because we're only gonna have 2,000 science sent back. Speaking of which, one thing I did want to touch on is when you're doing your planets, not necessarily the order that you go visit them, but more so the path in which, do you have every planet self-sufficient? So everything that you need to produce is produced here on this planet, and everything that's produced on Novice is produced there, and so on and so forth. Or do you do more of a interconnected planetary system where, like, Novice is going to produce your reactor fuel, and this planet is going to produce all of your titanium, right? In that regard, you kind of are forced to have separate production chains that result in somewhat reasonable things, right? But then you have other things where, like, I'm trying to think, where, for instance, like, tungsten is only available here in terms of Novice or Volcanus, and uranium is only available on Novice, right? So, like, you're forced to in that regard. However, other things, for the most part, as you can see, like circuits I can make here, plastic I can make here, engines I can make here, batteries I can make here, concrete I can make here, for all your basic resources I can make here, right? So then you have that question of, okay, well, if everything can be made here, almost everything can be made here, then you're really only ever going to want to ship the things that you can't make here, right? Which makes sense. I think that's fair, a fair assessment. But I have seen some people who, if an item is made more efficient on another planet, you'll ship it to all your other planets, right? So, like, for instance, oil products very clearly are not made very efficiently here. Like, here you have to make heavy oil, and then you have to crack it down and take it down steps in order to get it to anything useful, which kind of sucks. It's not great. Whereas on Novice, you can just get those resources immediately. You don't have to crack it into the lower steps. So really, oil products are more efficiently made there. I'm not sure of other products. I do know that every planet has its own unique challenges and kind of thing to it. So some planets do, I believe, have more efficient recipes for some other items, but I don't know what those items are yet. It is important to note that we didn't make as much progress this week as I would have liked, part and due because I'm trying not to get ahead of where me and my friends are in our playthrough, because we're trying to, like, go through it somewhat blind, which is a little bit difficult because I have seen a lot of, like, I've read all the Friday facts, or most of them, while this was being developed, so I know of the different planets, and I kind of know of their different mechanics to an extent, but I don't know all the little nuanced things. For instance, on this planet with the Demolishers, which is partially where we are, I was not aware of their ability for some of their attacks, nor was I fully aware of what can and can't damage them. So also, I would like any and all help you guys can give me for defeating the Demolishers down in the description below, or down in the comment section below. Sorry. It's been a very busy week. So any helpful information in that regard would be awesome. One thing I have found just from my little testing here is I currently can't really kill them with anything that I brought with me because I thought, oh, laser turrets are going to be able to kill them. I'll just bring a bunch of laser turrets. Awesome. Jeff, as I have so adeptly named him. This guy is Jeff, by the way. I was watching an American Dad episode. Jeff was in it. He is now Jeff. Say hi to Jeff. And through some of my testing, I was like, oh, well, Jeff will surely just be able to die, right? Now, as you can see, he has 100% resistance to lasers, so he can't be killed by them, to my knowledge. I don't know if we can outscale that by just getting higher damage, and like it's a weird decimal rounding thing, and eventually we could kill him with just more research, but I don't know. And then I was doing a little bit more research, so as you can see, like, we have stuff in his territory, and if you have stuff in their territory, they're supposed to get mad. But, like, he's not charging for us, so I don't know if it's adding a weight to this chunk, and, like, he's making his way to the weighted chunk, or if it's something more interesting. So there you go, you kind of heard him make a little squeal. If we look at him, like, he's kind of making his way roughly to where we are, right? So my question is there a weight that it's adding to the chunk similar to pollution, or is it just as soon as, like, it does a check in the territory or in his territory for items, and if it detects any, then he immediately goes towards it? But he's not like running to it, because he does go faster if you make him mad. I also found that they don't really leave their territory. I don't know if they can or can't. So, like, here you can see that, like, if we put something over here, he's not going to go attack it, but I don't know if I could, like, lead him out of his territory, like, kite him out of it. Because my only question is, could I kite another Demolisher into the zone and then have them fight? Because they're supposedly territorial is their description, but I don't know if that also just means, like, really territorial. Did I leave anything there? I don't think I did. Oh, that is still full. That is still full. This is a good problem to have. I mean, it's not a great problem to have, but it's a good problem to have. Go. You need carbide. Or carbon, not carbide. You need calcite, though. So let's go grab some calcite and coal while we continue to discuss things. So I have seen on the subreddit, although I do try to stick away from the subreddit just to avoid some spoilers for information, because I do want to try to play this as blind as possible. However, on occasion, I will peruse for things, whether it's a blueprint or just some information about something I'm currently doing. But I don't try to look ahead of things. Is my only thing is I want to try to discover things and kind of have that, you know, experience of, like, when you get to first read a book or something and it's like, wow, that was really cool, right? Because you don't really get that magic back, unfortunately. So I do try to enjoy the little bit of magic I still have in this game from those sorts of discoveries, right? Because, yeah, you know, you don't really ever get that sort of experience twice. Your first playthrough of Factorio where it's like, wow, this is really cool. Like, oh, wow, I can do that. Wow, I didn't realize I could do X, Y, Z. So, you know, of course, it's going to be a little bit difficult to ever get that back. So I do try to stay not as far away as possible, but I do try to just limit myself to how much new information that I take in that I didn't see in-game. But anyway, the Demolishers are difficult. Jeff is going to be difficult to deal with. So any way of dealing with him easily, let me know down below. I've seen people do a trick where they put walls around him and they use robots to replace the walls quicker than he can destroy them. I've seen all sorts of little things like that. I saw one person, they used reactors, like nuclear reactors, and they set them at 1,000 degrees and just let them go boom. Like, work. Would definitely work. I'm like, about that. Oh, and I discovered something, and it's honestly, it was probably in one of the Friday facts. I'm just dumb. If you're in map mode, but far enough away from the machine, like a foundry, I only tested it with a foundry, so it could work with other machines. So, hold on tight. Change recipe. You change it to something else. The item that was in the output slot doesn't drop to the ground, which I guess is fair because then it would cause a lot of issues. It stays in its inventory. And what's nice is I can change this to literally anything. Like in this case, just items that require iron. Well, but, so this part I don't think's a bug. I think this is an intended feature. What it is a bug is I hover over this. It says there's molten iron, which we know, and there's only 100 rods, which is like, oh, okay. So if you're hovering over this and you don't bother to click into it, and then you take items out, oh, hey, there's items that weren't listed there. So that is a bug. I do think this is a UI bug. I don't think it's an actual machine bug. It's probably intended so that way, like, items don't just go spilling out. Now, obviously, if you are close enough and you change recipe, it will do that. And I believe if you do it as well from here, it probably... No, as long as you're in map mode, so even if you are close enough to do it, it will do that. Let's just stay with steel because I think I need more. Those are just some little things I've discovered. I'm sure somebody's probably made a bug report about it. If they haven't, then I'd actually be a little bit surprised. It's not really the biggest, like, oh my god, that's game breaking, my immersion is ruined. But I do think it's still just interesting. Another thing that I think is interesting is how the foundries can be used both for smelting or casting, I guess, similar to metallurgy from Angel's Bob's. I think it's from Bob's that does metallurgy. I don't think it's Angel's. But you can also use the foundries for crafting, kind of like this, but you can also do just straight up crafting like this, or it's really bizarre. Crafting that doesn't really require an input. Okay, lubricant is an input, but there are, I think mining drills, it does, the big mining drills, and it doesn't require an input of like a liquid. But what's nice, though, is these have productivity, and they have like a 50% productivity. Yeah, 50% productivity. So that means every other craft, it generates 2. Which I think is just insane that it has a base amount of productivity, because like these don't have base productivity. These don't have base productivity, but these just have a base productivity. I don't have to add anything to it. So I think that's really neat and really nice. These do not currently pull out fast enough, so we need... Oh, we just need red. So we'll do something like this. So that way it empties, because we do just need a ton. That is one downside. So if you're making molten iron or molten copper from lava, it uses calcite, which kind of sucks for an input, but it's like negligible if you look at this. It uses 0.55 calcite per craft, or like 1 per 2 crafts. It generates stone, which I guess is fair, because that's essentially the game's equivalent of like slag from Angels. Or in real life, if you were doing something like this, where you're trying to cast metal, you would usually get slag or stone, which is just useless minerals and other things you don't need. But it's annoying because it doubles it because of the productivity every other craft. So you end up with like a full stack and like 2 crafts. And so then you have to get rid of it very quickly, because here, notice, it generates 206 molten per second. It generates 12 stone per second, which is quite a bit of stone to get rid of. Like, I just have a ton of stone up here, just in chest. So I'm not really sure what we're going to do with it. I don't know how we're going to deal with it on this planet, because we don't really need walls in the same sense on, like, Novice, where we'd have it for against the biters. But even then, we don't use a whole lot of stone. So I guess maybe turn it all into stone brick, and then turn the brick into something. I don't even know, what can stone brick be used for? Another gripe I have, though, is I wish when you opened Factoriopedia, it only showed you recipes you currently have unlocked. if that is a setting, definitely let me know, because I haven't looked into it, but definitely let me know. Because I don't like that if you don't have... Or, what I don't like is that it shows you every item in the game, regardless if you have it unlocked or not, which kind of sucks, because then it's like, oh, well, that's a nice spoiler. You know, so that I'm a little bit unhappy about. I'll have to see if that is a setting. If it is, I wish it was on by default, but alas, it's whatever. We can use it in concrete, which is about it. Does this save on? I think it doesn't, because I want to say 10 molten iron. Yeah, 10 molten iron is 1 iron plate. In 1 iron. Is it 1 iron to 1 plate? Yeah, so you end up using more iron that way. Well, that sucks. But, I mean, it's not like iron's the most expensive thing on the planet. This needs calcite. But yeah, as you can see, it does use quite a bit of calcite. I'm actually just going to steal all the calcite we have and throw it in there. But yeah, so our current goal is to just get our rocket system going again. So that way we have enough to get off the planet. And I think we actually have a good chunk now. So I'm just going to go through in between episodes. And my goal is going to be to get probably about 2,000 to 3,000 science sent back to Novice. And then get things like cliff explosives and other things we need to probably take these 2 areas. Because this has tungsten that we want. And then this area is just open real estate because it's just cliffs for the most part. So we'll probably start planning out like a main bus here, and then generating, honestly, just the science to ship back. Let me know down below, do you guys build all of your science on, so do you build all of the science on this planet? So red through yellow, or red through purple, I guess, and then plus this planet's unique science here, and then you research all the things you can with it, and then you ship this planet's unique science to all the other planets, so then every planet is researching everything all at once. It would make a very interesting concept. Or do you ship everything back to one planet like Novice and just do all of your science there regardless and have no labs actually here? Because I think that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to go with that, is I'm going to just make the science here. My main bus is going to be just to build this, foundries, big mining drills, probably some tungsten stuff and things, and just ship that back. So I don't expect my base here to be too large, because like I don't really think it's necessary to really build everything here if we're already building it there, and we'll just scale up our Novice facilities accordingly. I do think it is a much different challenge here because you don't really have any belt, so to speak. I mean, we're probably going to have belt, but I think for the most part, like a lot of our pre-transporting is going to be pipe, right? We're going to be moving around hot liquid metal in a lot of places instead of raw ore. And then from there, it's going to get transformed into things. The biggest issue on this planet is going to be figuring out how the hell do we deal with all the stone. Definitely let me know down below, what are you guys doing with all your stone? Are you just putting it in storage? Are you turning it into brick and then into concrete? Are you... honestly, I don't know. It's like the only things I can think of to do with it. If there was a way, I don't think there is, but if there's a way to like crush it or something, like, I haven't really looked at the tech for any of that. There's not really like stone in terms of like a thing to do with it. Like if I could, I don't know, squeeze it for water. We'll find something to do it. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you guys did, you guys know what to do. Smash that like button if you haven't done so already. Leave any questions, comments, concerns, tips, tricks, and anything else helpful under the sun, or in this case, in the comment section below, as it really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. And other than that, I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. And this is coming out the week of Christmas, so anybody who is celebrating Christmas, Happy Christmas or Merry Christmas. And anybody who, I believe it's Hanukkah, I'm not sure of the dates, Happy Hanukkah. And then Kwanzaa is after that, right? I hope I didn't forget any other holidays. If I forgot your holiday, happy holidays. And other than that, I will see you guys next week. Have a good one. Peace out.